Welcome back to City Avalanche Racing Lanes, the answer to the question no one asked. I'm your host, Casey Abernethy. Joining me once again is Randy Lincoln. Today we bring you the first of two semifinalist groups. Randy, you want to let the folks know what that means?
The drivers competing in the semifinals have already proven their worth by finishing in the top two of their respective quarterfinals events. But the stakes in today's races are much higher. The top two drivers from each semifinals group will not only move on to the Team Alpha Finals, but will have a guaranteed place in the league tournament that will take place after the 4 team tournaments.
A true tournament of champions. Definitely something to look forward to, but we're sure to be in for a great show today as well. Let's take a look at our returning competitors. Up first, Magnus for Magnuson, driving in the 40-gram Baja Bison T5.
Next up is Anita Forchick driving the blue 94 Audi Avant RS2 weighing 35 grams. She actually won 3 of the 4 races against Magnus in their quarterfinals event.
Next to her in the brown 94 Audi Avant RS2, Abby Stockton. She performed really well in Group 2, and I'm looking forward to seeing the both of them compete today.
And finally, my boy Eddie Hall, who put on a great show in that same quarterfinals event, and I'm excited to see what he shows off for us today.
The rules for the semifinals the same as for the quarterfinals. First place is worth 5 points, second worth 3. The third place finisher gets 2 points, fourth place gets 1, and DNFs, of course, are 0. If all 4 drivers do not finish a race, they'll have 1 opportunity to restart that race. If nobody finishes 2 times in a row, we'll move on to the next race.
Abby Stockton with a great inside pass on turn 6, then Magnus flips around and Eddie flips over. Then Magnus does a little dance, and once again we have tragedy on turn 11, with all 3 remaining drivers losing it.
Well, as Michael Jackson said when his mother pretended to take his nose, that is unfortunate.
Also unfortunate that Eddie Hall didn't even make it to turn 8. He did give us a good show, however, putting a little fear into those people waiting in line to buy tickets in the hopes of getting launched across the map in a porta potty. Thank you to Group 4 of the quarterfinals for that jewel.
Abby Stockton and Anita Forchick doing an admirable job of working their way around his roof wax demonstration.
Right before all 3 of them fall victim to whatever is going on at the gravity well, Magnus for Magnuson gets the gold medal for most dynamic leap off a cliff not involving a porta potty, taking a sizable chunk of landscaping with him.
I'm told we have a nice perspective from the finish line cam that demonstrates sweet irony in action, as we see Magnus bouncing off of an Eddie's roof wax sign on his roof.
I don't care who you are, that is hilarious.
That, of course, triggers our one and only restart for this race. Magnus for Magnuson and Anita Forchick in the front row once again.
And it looks like we lost Anita by the landing pad.
Magnus for Magnuson with a sizable lead. Will he make it all the way to the finish line this time? And it looks like he will. And a beautiful jump over the overpass, followed by Abby Stockton with a beautiful leap herself. Very nice finish.
Tell that to that lamppost that took a T5 and an Audi Avant upside its head. Brian Shaw's gonna have to work overtime to fix that. And where did Eddie Hall come from? He didn't cross the finish line.
Speaking of crossing the finish line, Magnus for Magnuson did it in record time, obliterating Jamie Reeves' previous record by over 0.7 of a second, with a time of 26.096 seconds.
That is impressive. It seems like every event the drivers are getting faster. Except for Group 4 of the quarterfinals, they definitely were not getting faster. Definitely.
And here we see Eddie Hall taking an extreme shortcut to the shop.
But let's not discount this stunt shot that would have taken Red Bull a year to pull off. Magnus for Magnuson taking a flying leap over Abby Stockton, while Eddie Hall bounces off the shop roof in the background. Truly an epic event. Beautiful to behold.
It's also nice to see Magnus for Magnusson with 5 points on the board, and Abby Stockton with 3 after just the first race, giving us a beautiful start to this event. Race 2 sees Eddie Hall and Magnus for Magnusson in the front row, Abby Stockton and Anita Forchik in the back.
I'm excited to see what Eddie's able to accomplish with some open road in front of him this race.
Well, it looks like he's managed to flip himself over the divider in turn 2, blocking Anita Forchik. And it looks like we lost Abby Stockton at turn 6, leaving Magnus for Magnusson all by himself to finish this race.
And it looks like the light pole in the pit lane is the preferred target of opportunity for this group.
Magnus for Magnusson putting in another impressive time of 26.680 seconds.
And while not a record, it is impressive how far Eddie was able to slide on his roof after turning over in turn 2.
Meanwhile, Abby Stockton and Anita Forchik having an impromptu Volvo meetup by the landing pad, which allowed Magnus for Magnusson to double his score, giving him a total of 10 points as we head into race 3.
Abby Stockton joining Eddie Hall in the front row this race, with Magnus for Magnusson and Anita Forchik in the back.
Everyone makes it safely out of turn 2 and turn 5, and Abby Stockton pushes Magnus off the track by the landing pad, where Anita Forchik appears to try to join him.
That clears the way for Abby to give chase to Eddie Hall as he makes a smooth run to the finish line.
And of course he must assume his natural position on his roof so that he can finish with style.
Stylish enough that Abby Stockton decided to follow his lead, finishing on her roof as well.
Another impressive time of 26.376 seconds puts Eddie just below Abby on the scoreboard, keeping them both in contention to join Magnus for Magnusson in the Team Alpha Finals.
Anita Forchik pulled off the automotive equivalent of a Starsky and Hutch hood slide to maneuver around Magnusson at turn 6, only to flip onto her roof at turn 8 and have an impressive roof slide herself down to turn 9.
If I didn't know better, I'd think Eddie Hall and Abby Stockton planned that tandem roof slide finish.
They may have just been getting an early start on our 100 subscribers celebration.
Well, according to the internet, if the channel keeps growing at this rate, we'll have 1 million subscribers by the time we get to our 42nd video. That seems a bit optimistic, but I appreciate the enthusiasm.
According to a post from @Rachel_6-7, we will never get to 1 million subscribers. Also, the dogs need to be let inside.
Ah yes, I'll get to that after our final race, which will determine who will join Magnus for Magnusson in the Team Alpha Finals.
Well, it will not be Anita Forchik, as the best she can hope for is a tie for 3rd place. But I expect she'll give it all she can, as we have a twin Volvo front row starting out.
Anita and Magnus already significantly ahead of the rest as they come out of the divided lanes.
Magnus for Magnusson really tailgating Anita Forchik all the way down the track.
Very aggressive driving by both of them, which has paid off as Anita Forchik crosses the finish line for the first time today with a 1st place finish.
A bigger payoff for Abby Stockton, however. Even though she didn't win a single race today, her consistency gets her into the Team Alpha Finals and the league tournament, alongside Magnus for Magnusson.
It is worth noting that our 4 fastest race times of this tournament so far were all set in today's event.
That is something to be proud of. And even though he won't be continuing on in this tournament, Eddie Hall can definitely be proud of the legacy he has left behind during his time with us.
Absolutely. He will forever be synonymous with people traveling long distances on their roofs. Here are your first 2 Team Alpha finalists, Magnus for Magnusson and Abby Stockton. For Randy Lincoln, I'm Casey Abernathy, reminding you to keep your head up and your foot down. And we'll see you next time at City Avalanche Racing Lanes.
At New Line.